So looking at the kind of basic equipment that you need in order to make a film, here's kind of a few suggestions. You can use a flip cam, which are readily available, very affordable. It's not you need to go out and spend thousands of pounds on high-end kit. You're really wanting to communicate an important message, and the narrative is the bit which is going to make this story strong. But there's a huge opportunity, the fact that most people now have access to a smartphone. You carry the opportunity to make a movie in your pocket. So while you're out and about, you might see something that relates to your story, relates to the narrative and the topics which you're talking about, and you can film there and then. So an important tip which I'd like to offer is using a tripod. It just allows you to bring your production values up. It allows you to have a professional looking shot, and it keeps it steady and something which you'll be really pleased about when you come to editing it. So regardless of what equipment it is that you're going to be using to produce your film, you've really got to think about the composition. So a tip to make sure that your composition looks really professional and creates a really nice shot is the rule of thirds. Now, this just allows you to think about how you're going to position your subject in the overall composition. So if their eye line is a third down and a third across, but they're actually looking across the lens, it just makes it look a lot more natural, a lot more engaging, rather than if they look off camera. That's where the audience will probably get a bit disengaged and they won't really understand what the actual subject's talking about. Okay, so looking at the production of your film, this is the fun bit. This is where you actually go out on location, you'll start filming different people. And you want to make sure that everything is planned and everything is looking great when you actually come to the edit. So the more that you're thinking about that actually while you're filming and planning, then the better it's going to be and the more excited you are going to be to actually then produce and edit that footage down. So lighting is a really kind of important part of your shot. You don't want it to be in a dark room because obviously the audience won't be able to see the subject, and likewise you don't want it to be too overexposed. A lot of kind of low-end consumer equipment will change that automatically, but be aware of your lighting and making sure that you want to create a really interesting, vibrant shot. Now, half of your overall film is sound, and this is sometimes overlooked and almost forgotten about. So be thinking about background noise. If you go into a place and they've got the radio on, just ask them to turn it off. If you're in a noisy area, go and find a quieter spot. This will allow you to really make sure that the message and the topic or subject that you're talking about is portrayed in the right way and that people can actually hear it and understand it. So with your equipment, make sure that you've got a bit of a checklist, everything's prepared, and you're in a really strong position. So when you go onto location, you're doing the interview, nothing can go wrong. So charge your batteries up, make sure that you've got the right kit, and everything will go smoothly. Okay, so while you're actually doing the interview, be thinking about your cutaways. And a cutaway is some form of visual that can elaborate on what it is that they're actually talking about. So that might be some form of photo or additional footage which you go and actually film. So if they are talking about a certain subject, they might talk about a certain area of that subject, which could be the outside of the building which they're in, or a person which they've been talking about. So be mindful of that while actually filming the interview, and then you can ask them at the end if they have maybe got access to some photos, or they can take you to certain locations where you can get those additional shots.